So it's 2025 and we're at it already. These ponies just don't learn. They are being dishonest and they are being disingenuous. I really need to ask Granny to talk to these ponies and jabronis because they need someone like her to deal with them. Granny?
Oh,
how you gonna make it talk?
Talk to me.
Granny, I didn't tell you to bring out the Uzi, man. Come on, Granny. I didn't tell you to bring out the chopper. But yes, there is a lot of talk right now that the Xbox Series S can't run, Black Myth Wukong. I mean, there is even Jimmy Neutron who is basically saying, wow, blame the Series S.
Get. Claiming that he said they need more experience. I really need you to think about what he said. He's saying that 10 gig of shared memory is such an issue that they would need years of optimization experience to figure it out.
So Reforge here is agreeing with the game science developer, saying that the 10 gigabytes of RAM that is in the Series S is an issue. Now, if that is an issue, then what is the issue with the PlayStation 5? Because Reforge, did you forgot you said this?
It's super angry on my top games of 2024, and he could not believe that I didn't mention Black Myth Wukong. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I said it was one of my most anticipated games, but the game runs like crap on PS5. They use frame gen to double the frames of a 30 FPS game. Cry more because someone didn't praise your favorite game.
So according to Reforge, 7 days ago, the 16 gigabytes of RAM that is in the PlayStation 5 was not enough to even run Black Myth Wukong well on the PlayStation 5. So much so that he didn't put it on his top 5 games for the PlayStation 5 in 2024. So in one mouth, he's agreeing with the game science dev, saying that how the 10 gigs is not enough. But he's also agreeing that even 16 gigabytes was not enough to get Black Myth running well on the PlayStation 5. So you see how we catch these ponies and jabronis, guys? You see how we do it?
Okay, so if you're like, yeah, see, it's the devs' fault. They admitted it's their fault. Well, let me ask you something. Was it then also Larian's lack of experience? They couldn't get split screen to work.
But I could say the same thing, Reforge. Couldn't Larian get Baldur's Gate 3 to run at 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro? Why is it running under 30 FPS or 36 FPS? Isn't that possible on the PlayStation 5 Pro?
Baldur's Gate 3, the classic city run. Act 3, we've got a save that's like 100 hours in, and we can actually do a run through the city. And you can see that on the left there, the base PlayStation 5, on the right is the Pro enhanced version of the game. We're still CPU limited, and you'll see that similar to Cyberpunk, the performance differentials are again in line with a modest bump to CPU clock. So, Oliver, I think this is probably the primary limitation. I mean, a lot of people are looking at PlayStation 5 Pro thinking, should I give up my PC or should I stick with PlayStation and not move to PC? And I think the defining limitation of the Pro, which we've got to accept, is that even mainstream CPU performance now in the PC space is significantly better than the Zen 2 in the PlayStation 5 Pro.
So I asked you, Reforge, wasn't Larian skillful enough to get this game running at 60 FPS? Why is this game running 36 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro? Could you answer me that, Reforge?
Xbox engineers were helping Larian get split screen to work, right? So I guess the Xbox engineers lack experience too. Or how about this? Let's take a look at all of the Xbox Studio games that have come out this gen, shall we? There's a pattern of games being delayed and not shipping at quality. Redfall, delayed, didn't ship at quality, shipped 30 FPS. Starfield, delayed, didn't ship at quality, had to patch 60 FPS in later. Forza Motorsport, delayed, didn't ship at quality, is still being patched and fixed because of how abysmal it was. They removed it from some competitive circuit because it was in such bad state.
And this here is a foolish argument because Reforge is equating games that launched at 30 FPS as not being ready, as being half-baked. But let me remind Reforge that there are a lot of games that would have launched on the PlayStation 5 that were not 60 FPS. We are talking about Space Marine 2, we are talking about Alan Wake 2, and many other games would have launched on the PlayStation 5 not at 60. Were those games incomplete? Millions of persons bought it. Millions of persons enjoy those games. So are you saying that 30 FPS is not good? Not because a game is launched at 30 FPS meant that the game was not ready. It could simply mean that that was the developer's choice at the time. But Reforge is not saying seeing that. He is saying that that means the game is not ready. Of course, it's a pony argument to carry out whatever talking point that they want to push. But it's very clear that these games that launched at 30 FPS on the Xbox were playable on the Series S. There is not a game that is currently available that cannot run on the Series S, and today we are going to prove it. Yes, today we are going to talk about how the devs there at Game Science, they are capping. Yes, they are capping. How could they say that Black Myth Wukong cannot run on the Series S? We are going to prove it today, guys, so buckle up as we do it. You know what? Let's get it!
This is a sickness!
Let's get it! So guys, before we continue the video, we are on our way to 4,000 subscribers. So if this type of content interests you, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Of course, you get great Xbox content, you get some Nintendo news here and there, and of course, we give you the Sony Pony salt, the best type of salt for your skin and for your hair. So if this type of content interests you, please consider subscribing. Now let's get back to the video. So all over Twitter, all over the interweb, there are persons that are having the discussion that the Xbox cannot run Black Myth Wukong. That is the Xbox Series S. And that is what is preventing Black Myth from coming onto an Xbox platform. Now, how did they come to this conclusion? They came to this conclusion based on one of Black Myth's directors. He would have said this: although there were no big surprises, I still felt a little emotional after getting all of them. Everyone's fighting power is so terrifying, but the only thing missing is the Xbox robe. It seems a bit wrong, but that's 10 GB of shared memory. It's really impossible to get it without several years of optimization experience. Sad emoji. So this is what the Black Myth devs said there concerning the Series S, and we find that very surprising because not too long ago this is what Xbox would have said in an official capacity. Microsoft tweeted, "As we have said before, we are excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We preferred not to comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we can confirm that the delay is not due to Xbox platform limitations that have been raised to us." So here we have two conflicting reports. We have the developers there at Game Science saying it is a memory issue on the Series S part. And then we have Xbox, who would have made a last statement. They were saying, here what, as far as they know, Game Science did not come to them saying that they have a memory issue with any of the Xboxes. So who can we believe? Let us look at the evidence and see which one is the most feasible one to believe. Let's first look at Stalker 2. We all know that Stalker 2 came out for the Xbox and it was a smash hit. But not only did this game was playable on the Series X, but it was also playable on the Series S, as you could see on the screen here. And it ran pretty well. So much so that the developers said this: at first, we thought bringing Stalker 2 to the Xbox Series S might be impossible. We have such a big game with so many mechanics, a huge amount of things, the studio told Windows Central. It felt like this must be impossible to do. But then we start optimizing, adding new features for streaming information. Unreal Engine has a lot of features for this. But for our game, we really had to squeeze up every megabyte from every piece of system content we could, and now we did it. The developer went on to say it's now possible for any game to reach the Xbox Series S memory limits. However, the studio admitted that not every team has the time or the resources to optimize for Series S. However, so there we have the team who made Stalker 2. They are saying that it's possible to bring any game to the Series S, although they did admit that it would take time and resources. But the point is that these games are playable on the Series S. But let's look at another developer. But then again, a pony might say that that's just the Stalker 2 developer saying that, and they're saying that only because Microsoft is giving them a check. Well, let's see if we get another developer who could echo the sentiments of the Stalker 2 developers. One of the arguments that the Sony fans have been using again for the Series S is that when GTA 6 is released, that it won't be released on the Series S because GTA 6 is way too big, way too graphically intensive to run on the Series S. Well, what does the GTA devs had to say? Look at this. About a week ago, GTA devs there at Rockstar said GTA 6 publisher not really worried about the Series S performance. Addressing this, Zelnick simply said the team would always find a way to support platforms despite levels of tech, in a bid to alleviate any concerns. So here we have GTA dev is saying here what? Our game could run on a Series S. We are not worried about that. Now, when we also take into consideration that Indiana Jones, one of the most technically advanced games last year, would have ran on the Series S superbly. When we look at Hellblade 2, a game that one would arguably say is one of the best looking games ever so far for this generation, also ran on the Series S. We are really asking the game science developers, how could you say Black Myth Wukong cannot run on the Series S? I mean, that's appalling. But one of the most damning evidence to show that these devs are capping is this, is that Black Myth Wukong, it runs on the Steam Deck. Wow. So are you saying that Black Myth is possible to run on the Steam Deck but can't run on the Series S? When the Series S is significantly more powerful and more capable than the Steam Deck? Is this what you're trying to sell us here, Game Science? Look at this.
Wukong got a pretty big update recently and is actually looking pretty good on the deck again. It's not got 16:10 still on the resolution, so we are still going to be getting black bars. Performance is a little bit better. Quality definitely seems to be quite a bit better. We don't have anywhere near as much FSR issues or with the anti-aliasing issues in general, and mostly staying above that 30 frames per second.
So yes, the most damning information that these devs are capping, that they need all these years to port Black Myth to Series S, is very clear. That if the Steam Deck could run it, if the Steam Deck that has less RAM than the Series S, the Series S has more capable RAM than the Steam Deck, but yet the Series S can't run it. Make it make sense, you ponies. Make it make sense. So let me hear what you thought about the reasons why we could know based on the facts that we are seeing that the devs there at Game Science are capping. Let me know what you thought about everything that was said. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.